Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Yo again, and this is the video that absolutely no one has been waiting for. The 2 weeks and 2,000 miles review. What do I really think from the wheels all the way to the mirrors, from the fairing all the way to the exhaust? Let's get started. The first thing that has bothered me about every Harley I've ever owned was the lighting, the bullets. You know, why is it that you pick up a bike that costs $29,000 at MSRP and they still give you halogen lights? I've been really frustrated by that for a long time until I started talking to a service guy this morning about it, and he brought up a really good point. He's like, well, don't you understand how many LEDs are out there? Like, Harley can't put out 50 different LEDs for bullets, and everybody wants something different. Why put one set of LEDs on every bike, jack up the MSRP, the end user price, you know, $250, when that might not be the LED that every single person wanted anyway? You know, and I asked myself the same thing about the mufflers. Should I have really had to drop almost $600 on a set of mufflers just to get a crisp and lower tone with just a little bit more volume? And he said the very same thing. He's like, there's 50 sets of mufflers and headers out there. Everybody wants a different tone, a different volume. Why would Harley throw out another $250, $300 worth of mufflers and add that to the MSRP when 90+% of customers are going to change it to a different exhaust anyway? Why not make things easier for the EPA regulations, yada yada? I'm like, all right, again, I gotta give you that one. And then the last thing that drove me absolutely crazy about this bike was the antenna that I had sticking way out to here, flopping in the wind, driving me crazy. So I said, how am I gonna fix that? I ripped the saddlebag off, I disconnected it with a couple wrenches, disconnected the seat, ran the antenna right underneath the seat, zip tied the antenna to some wiring that was already running through here anyway, and threw the saddlebag right back in place. And while I was at the dealer today getting a 1K service, which I was 1,000 miles late for, paid $1.98 for a matching piece of rubber to just cram in there real quick. So my not complaints, the positive, what am I loving about this bike? Well, let's be real. If you got yourself a set of Allen wrenches, a set of Torx heads, a set of Phillips, and a Torx wrench, there's not really a lot that you can't do at the minor level on your own bike. You know, I've always looked at my motorcycles like they were some mystical unicorn that I just jumped on, flipped the throttle, and it drove me forward. I never wanted to rip apart my own bikes and be so intimately involved and know how everything worked. But when I had an install problem on this one and had to rip apart the fairing and figure out 12-pin to 12-pin connector that the service department at a dealer that I had install it didn't do it right, so I fixed it. And I'm like, you know, if I've been this far into the bike, it can't be that hard from there. So I just started doing other stuff. I jumped on YouTube and Thanks to people like Law Abiding Biker and Moto Blonde and Blockhead and a few other video content creators, you can pretty much figure out how to do everything. No, I'm not gonna go throw my own cam in the bike. I'm not quite that stupid. But heated grips, that was basic tools, and I grabbed some line from my weed eater, ran it through the bar. There was already connectors in there, just pulled the plugs, the caps out, plugged everything in, done. Again, there's videos on YouTube how to do it all. Now that the wireless headset interface module is in here, and this one, I don't care. There's really no excuse for this one. If I'm gonna pay $30,000 for a motorcycle, and every other competitor in the $30,000 bracket is already gonna offer me Apple CarPlay directly from the factory without having to buy more parts and pay labor prices to install it, I shouldn't have to do that at Harley Davidson either. Air intake, easy, beautiful, sounds amazing. It's like me after a long ride stopping at a 7-Eleven. I know you guys aren't going to be able to hear it once I jump on the bike, but I'm not kidding you. This thing is me to a Slurpee. Like, you pull the throttle and it's just all over that Slurpee. What other details have I noticed? Just, high quality fit and finish that you would expect. I set and adjust my mirrors and they stay put. I don't have to mess with them. The heated grips that I purchased, it takes a minute for the temperatures to get up there, but once they're up there, they hold. The anti-buffet hole is what I call it. I can't keep it clean. Whether it's closed or open, it just gets dusty as all get out. Bags, absolutely no complaints. Reliability, no complaints. As I slowly add a little here and there, threw some mufflers on, threw an air cleaner in, put a tuner on it, and had a tune done today with no dyno, the motor just keeps waking up little by little by little. The front end LEDs, I got absolutely no complaints there. I go to work every morning. I leave at 5 o'clock, sometimes a few minutes before 5. It's pitch black out here, and these things just illuminate the whole road, even if I'm not hitting the high beams. I just really have nothing other than I shouldn't have had to drop $300+ on a wireless headset interface module that I can really complain. Every penny that I've put into this bike was worth it. Everything that I spent on it to get it, I definitely feel like I got every penny's worth, except the whim. And then my last little kind of a nugget, kind of a pet peeve. There's so much beautiful chrome on this bike. She's just spotless. I mean, it's just amazing. But then we got the polished lower forks. That just makes absolutely no sense to me why this couldn't have been chromed out. So since I can't find a decent set of chromed out lower forks anywhere, I'm thinking that maybe, I've got black chrome, black chrome, black chrome, black chrome. Everywhere I'm looking, black chrome, black chrome, black chrome. Why not throw some chrome axle nuts with the black Harley Davidson writing right here, blacked out lower forks, and don't put this on the black ones when I get them and do to the chrome. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but to me, I think that would be perfect. I'm not trying to grow this channel into 10,000K subscribers or any crazy mess like that. I am just trying to help some people, maybe get a little community going, enjoy some stuff. But I really want some opinions. Please comment below if you have some ideas, images, manufacturers that make really good chrome lower forks, or if you think that blacked out is the way to go for this particular bike. Now on to the fancy schmancy stuff that comes with the bike. Turn the headset on.
Hello.
You guys may or may not be able to hear all that mess.
Connected.
All right. So there's the fancy Apple CarPlay that everybody talks about. It seems to work pretty darn good. And if you're trying to decide between the road glide or the street glide based upon whether or not you can get to the touchscreen, I would honestly tell you after 2 weeks and 2,000 miles that that is the absolute last thing that you should base your decision on. Because everything except for this one button right here, I can completely navigate to with this toggle and this button and this toggle right here. Anything else fancier than that, you can just get anywhere. Like, you can go to, while CarPlay is running, you can get to the inbound navigation, or click the home button right there and click over to the music, back to home, back to CarPlay. I can shoot over, go to favorites, home, and toggle through the different areas. It's just that simple. I don't have to worry about whether or not I can reach anything. So anyway, and then we'll go back to the original view. It's just literally that simple. If your concern of what bike you want to get is whether or not you can touch the screen, I don't know what to tell you, because they've made it just about as easy as they can possibly make it. This is another complaint that I have. If you have your phone plugged in instead of a USB port, USB drive into the port in your little pocket over here, it always gives you that warning of no playable media found, and you have to click the OK button. And then I have to go back and disconnect my phone, reconnect my phone, all because I started the bike. All right. So you probably can't get too much audio quality out of this because the microphone isn't the most expensive, luxurious thing I could have possibly purchased. But that's that. So let's get her out a little bit and see what stage 1 did for her. All right. I think we'll go somewhere special. In memory of yeah, she don't move like a Challenger, but just a little baby stage 1 and she moves. Let's see what we got. Navigate to Abraham Lincoln Monument. And we'll click our little go button, and there we are. Now obviously I'm not going to play any music because the YouTube's is very unfriendly to that. But we're just going out through a little stroll through the Midwest. This is Laramie, Wyoming. A lot of people call it Gem City, and that's because back in the day one of the things that started this city was mining gems and throwing them on the trains. I call it Gem City because I think it's the gem of the Midwest. We only got a population of 30,000 people, but because of the university and all these college age kids that are here for education, and a lot of them come from big cities and demand, you know, the amenities that come with living in a larger city. Our businesses in the area have adapted to that, and so we got a lot of extra stuff that you wouldn't expect in a town this small. You know, Applebee's, Chili's, Super Walmart. And I know it sounds really luxurious to most of you, but out here in the Midwest, town this small, that's pretty fancy. Man, I love those new mufflers. I had to be a little picky with the mufflers that I picked up because, like I said, I leave for work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to be that guy that cranks up the bike at 4:55 and lets it heat up for 1 minute and let the heated grips warm up for 1 minute. It makes every neighbor hate me. Let's see. So this is Grand Avenue. We have two big strips. Yeah, two lane by 2 lane. Those are our big strips. We got Grand Avenue and 3rd Avenue. That's where pretty much everything in town is. It's 45 minutes to the nearest Harley dealer. We used to have one here in town, but it closed up due to lack of volume. We do have a Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Polaris dealer, as you can see right there, but they have absolutely no room, no interest, and no money to drop into opening up an Indian section. So if you want to ride bikes in this town and you want to be serviced and get everything else done in town, you're headed to West Laramie and you're gonna get yourself on a Honda. Well, that's pretty much it. See, there's our big fancy Applebee's. And if you don't treat your partner right, you'll end up eating at Applebee's alone. And who wants to eat at Applebee's alone? If you get that reference, we can definitely be friends. And as you can see, for such a small town, we have pretty decent sized Ford and Chevy dealerships. Our Toyota dealership is just absolutely off the charts. But let's get back to Harley, shall we? Don't forget, if you guys have any questions about this bike, anything that's different in the 2021 model year, you are absolutely welcome to just toss me a question down in the comment section, and I will make the time at some point to answer you. Personally, there's a lot of $25 and $30 things that I have not done to this bike because everybody's sold out of everything. The reason why I'm gonna close in on 2,000 miles today is because I've had to make so many long rides to go get parts from dealers that were 3.5, 4 hours away. So a lot of people asking about the cable versus hydraulic. I'm definitely biased to that as it is. You know, I've been riding for a long time, but I never tried to be any type of competitive bike rodeo, low speed superstar. So my friction zone and throttle control are good, but they are definitely not instructor, police academy, cruiser section level by any means. So when I get the option of a cable clutch on this bike this year, which has a much wider friction zone, so I don't have to have quite as much accuracy and quite as much finesse to get the same performance that I would need on a hydraulic clutch with a much narrower friction zone range, I was all over it. And this is why I moved here. To ride Harleys in the middle of nowhere, to free my mind of all the monsters, the stress, the negative attitudes, everyone in a rush, cutting each other off, tailgating at 85 miles an hour. people trying to kill you because you're doing 85 in a 75 mile per hour zone, and that's just not fast enough. But yeah, I'll set my cruise control, good to go, hands off the throttle, and I'm just gonna mosey on over to the original view. I got no interest in being able to reach this thing whatsoever. Oh, so we are headed to the Abraham Lincoln Monument. I hope that this construction does not continue and cut off my exit, or I'm gonna have a bad day. This is just absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. I completely take this for granted if I'm riding in the cage, but when I'm on the bike, I just absorb every little pebble, every little scratch, and every rock. It's just absolutely amazing out here. And this is pretty much everywhere in Wyoming. You know, you get some moderate twisties. If I wasn't doing YouTube appropriate speeds, this would definitely be far more entertaining for me. I mean, here I am in a t-shirt. I got a full face on, only because I need somewhere to put the GoPro and the headset so that I can do this quick review for you guys. And I feel nothing, no buffeting. I got just a little bit of wind on my fingers and just a little bit of wind on the outside of my arms. But I literally could not ask for more from this fairing. Absolutely perfect. Now, one thing that I'm not really excited about, that I'm figuring out pretty quickly living out here in the Midwest now, is that tubeless tires and elevation changes are not friends. You know, I've got a 700 or 800 feet elevation change. Just headed to Cheyenne, which is 45 minutes away, and the amount of air that I have in my tires is completely different than my tire pressure at the same tire temperature back here at home. I don't know how badly that's gonna affect tire wear, because I'm not a qualified motorcycle technician by any stretch of the imagination, but I can do a little common sense and it just doesn't sound like it's the right thing. And now we go home. Yeah, she's starting to feel more like a real bike. She pulls when I want her to pull. I'm really excited to throw a cam and a full dyno on this thing in a couple months. If you're interested in the new Hill Start Assist, I seem to have some activation issues on that one. Like, I've got to be at a 5% or higher grade change in order for it to really activate. And man, oh, I totally want to pull a blockhead right now and just say one time in Mexico and just let it rip right now and show you how much fun Wyoming really is. Trying to piece together anything else I can think of. I thought I was pretty thorough for a 2-week 2K review. She definitely holds the line. She definitely cuts right through all that headache of running down the road, being next to tractor trailers. I don't know if you noticed while I was passing a couple back there, but I felt nothing. The only reason I knew I was passing a tractor trailer is because I saw it. Suspension, it travels not the greatest. Honestly, I just got off of riding a Sport Glide for 1.5 years, and I tried, you know, 2 or 3 different settings on the Sport Glide, a little light, little heavy, my ideal weight, and did the same thing on this suspension, little light, little heavy, ideal. And just, I'm guessing because of the limited travel in the rear end of this bike, which partly is my fault because I purchased the special, not the standard. You just don't quite get the same cushy feeling with the same amount of bumps that you do on the new Softails. You just don't. So I'll be dropping a Wilbur in this thing sometime during winter. We're gonna do the stage 3 in the Wilburs. And please, if you haven't commented about the lower fork, front forks, whether you know of some chrome or you think the blacked out is a great idea, please do so. Genuine asking for your help, your opinion, and not trying to fool the YouTube network brain, the algorithm, into making me popular. I don't really care about that. The seat, almost forgot the seat. Glad I got around to that. So I've done 3.5, 4-hour rides from a full tank of gas, 91 octane, all the way to almost empty. No problems with this seat. But then I fill up the tank and I run all the way back another 4 hours. By the time that 4 hours is over, my pretty cheeks are feeling it. I'm not having any tailbone issues like a lot of people complain of, but the cheeks are definitely feeling it after an 8-hour day, I'm not gonna lie. This is my first ever full-size bagger. I have my preferred seats manufacturers for Dynas and Softails, but I don't know nothing about no touring seats. So if you got some really good recommendations on some touring seats, I'd be happy to hear those as well. Out here in the Midwest, really small dealerships, we can't just walk into the dealer and see a wall of demo seats, throw them on our bike, ride them around for half an hour, bring them back, and have the dealer order them. Our world just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We have to go to the YouTubes and to the Reddit and to all those other magical places to try to get some insight into what we're looking for. You know, everything that I've seen John Maxwell review, if I purchased the product and tried it out, I found his review to just be dead on. So I'm kind of thinking about the Adam Sandoval signature seat, sort of leaning in that direction. If you guys have any thoughts on that one, please hit me up. I'm gonna shut this one down before it drags on for far too long. I'll try to skimp any little BS out that I can to keep the time indecent. But that was anything and everything that I could think of to review after 2 weeks and 2,000 miles. If you want to see more of my content as I start to grow a personality, start to get inflections in my voice and getting all fancy pants, I'm a little more entertaining each and every video than I was the one before. You know what breast buttons to press. I don't have to make them and point to them. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and thank you if you've commented.